together and we prosper together.
The first thing anyone who's interested to do in studying the United States is to research carefully all of the options available. You know, we have thousands of accredited schools in the U.S., really institutions right for every level of student. So the first step is to carefully consider your options, what kind of education you're looking for, and then to reach out and look at a variety of schools. Not just the ones you might find on the internet with a quick search, but rather looking with, for example, our educational advising services. That's the right step. The second step then, once you identify a school, is to carefully consider your financing. How are you and your family going to pay for your course of studies in the United States? And in fact, that's an aspect of the visa process which I can get into later. Once you decide on how you're going to pay for your studies, what your plan is, then you actually have to apply to the U.S. school you'd like to attend and gain admissions. And then finally, after you've done all that, your research, your financing, your application, then you apply for the visa. Well, it really depends on the school because, again, your first step is to apply for admission to a U.S. school. Some schools require students to complete the TOEFL, which is a test of English as a foreign language, a TOEFL. Other schools don't have that requirement, and they will say that a student, if accepted based on their academic records and their application, has to undergo a certain amount of English language training before they can begin their full course of studies. So for the visa interview, there's not a specific level of English is required, but rather on the form you get from the school, the I-20 form, that form will determine, that form will state whether or not English fluency is required for the course of studies. And if it is, then the interview is conducted in English. If it's not, then there can be provisions made for the student to interview in their own language. And the visa process, again, is really the last step. And for a lot of students, it's actually the easiest step because you've already done all the hard work getting accepted to a school in the United States. The consular officer, when you come for the interview, is going to ask you a few questions about why you'd like to study in the U.S., what your academic preparation is, what your plans are, how you will pay for your course of studies. So very simple questions. A lot of students we see who come to us practice speeches in advance and really overthink, we find, the visa process, the interview. Really, the best advice I can give to anyone who has been accepted to study in the United States and is ready to go and is waiting for their visa is to come in and just be prepared to answer basic questions. If you've done all the work that you're supposed to do in getting accepted to a school in the United States, the visa will be issued. Well, visa process is very fast. Once you go online and you make an appointment, and of course you'll have already the I-20 form from the school showing that you're authorized to apply for a student visa. Normally it's a couple of weeks to get an appointment, and once you get that appointment, and assuming that you are qualified for the visa, it only takes a couple of days thereafter to receive your visa, and you're all set to begin your studies in the U.S.